Hi! I'm going to delete our little announcement in the other group because this is why I don't use Be Live, because it's a little bit glitchy for me. So I'm trying to decide if I want to invest, but I'm not sure I do. I think so. It's a great platform, but it kicked me off. So here I am live in the Facebook group to continue our topic for today, 3 sneaky saboteurs that stop you from getting clients. And I was just about to dig in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start my energy up all over again. We're going to talk about these 3 common patterns, little traps that can stop us from having all the clients we want, especially for change makers, visionaries, people who feel called to serve, healers, coaches, consultants. You have a big mission. You have this calling, this desire to help and serve a lot of people. And that's who I love to support, getting your vision out into the world in the biggest possible way. And I was just on the Be Live platform and I got kicked off and I don't know why. So I'm back here on this live and I'm just gonna go ahead and delete that confusing post so people know where to find us. And we're going to jump into the training today on this week's Give Voice to Your Vision, where we stop the spinning wheel and we get real, so it is clarity we feel. I'm going to share some Jedi moves and tricky truths and real tools you can use. So I'm glad you're joining me. We'll have some consistent clarity in your message, your marketing will be set free. We're talking about these 3 little saboteurs that sneak in and get us and stop us from having all the clients and income we want, making the difference that we're here to make. And I was on Be Live, so I don't have my little cool little subtitles, so I will just talk them in. If you're here watching live and you want to type those in as we go, that's awesome in the comments. I love it. I appreciate that. We're talking about these 3 sneaky saboteurs, so I'm going to start right away with number 1. See here, this is a habit, a pattern, a little trap that we can fall into that can really tank our momentum, and it can make sharing our message, our marketing, our content creation hard, okay? It makes it feel exhausting or drain. These little things can make it feel exhausting or draining. And as you know, if you've been here at all for a time, that I'm all about coming from aligning your inspiration. I've been talking a lot on my personal page and a couple other places about that. Inspiration is where things start to get easy and we have that flow. So these 3 things that happen, I see it again and again with clients that I have the privilege of serving. Tank your message, okay? The first one, and then I'm going to share, at the end, I'm going to share one particular way, one powerful tool, one powerful thing to know that you can do consistently that will help you be sure that these things aren't undermining your efforts and your marketing and your visibility, okay? Sometimes we want visibility that actually helps us make a difference in the world, right? It actually helps us get clients. That means we need a successful business. So these are the 3 things that I see happening again and again. And I'm going to tell you about another free training that I have coming up in a couple of weeks. And so to help you with this very thing, this surefire way that you can make sure these little tricky buggers aren't stopping you or ruining your momentum or impacting your results in a really negative way. Okay, so the first thing that happens again and again, still happens to me sometimes, but I have a lot of support around it now because it's so compelling, and it's this thought or this idea or this habit pattern that we have to getting stuck in the details. I don't know if I can actually do the 2-screen thing and type while I'm going. Yay! Hi, Susan Rolfe, if you're here. Thank you for the heart. So the first number 1 thing, the sneaky saboteur that stops us from having all the clients that we want, the income, the money, the income and money are the same thing, and the impact that we want is that we get stuck in the details, okay? There are a million details. See if I can find us. Yep, okay, we're good. There are a million details when you are running a business. You have your expertise, your mission, the thing that you're here to do, the work that you love to do, right? And we can get so trying to build a business out of them. There's a million details, right? We have to have an email list, and if we're going to have an online presence, then we need to have an online presence, and that means social media, and we have to write emails, and we have to be consistent, and then there's strategy, and how do I have the conversation so I don't feel like I'm being salesy and gross all the time, and so many details, returning emails, client care and delivery, figuring out which systems to use, and especially if you're a one-person show, right? And then hiring a team, who's going to work, which ones do I need first, and learning the nuances of marketing and messaging. So many of us are healers and coaches, and we know our expertise, our gift, that thing that we're here to bring through, and we love working with our clients, but all the other stuff feels heavy or overwhelming, and we can get caught in just the tiniest details. I was just talking with a couple different clients today, and we can get stuck on just like a certain phrase, like, or a certain idea of like, I have to figure out this one thing, and then we're not zooming out and like looking at the whole picture. And so how do we juggle all that? How do we juggle all that, right? Handling the details and not getting stuck in the details, like exactly how do I word a post, or how do I invite somebody to work with me, or how do I set up a Facebook page, or all these different things. Where should I go live? All these different tools we have. The internet has made it so doable for us to all have our own businesses and reach and serve many people all around the globe. Awesome. But the details can really stick us. So having support around the details, having a trusted guide or a process or a system or a team to help us navigate and not be stuck in the details. Even just knowing, wait, I'm stuck in the details right now, can be incredibly liberating. We must remember to zoom out and find those high value actions. So one of the sneaky saboteurs that keeps us from getting clients, making the money we want, is getting stuck in the details. So if that's you and you're here watching, say, yep, I've been stuck in the details. Or you could say, on a scale of 1 to 10, how often does that happen to you? 10, all the time. I'm always stuck in the details. 1, never. The details don't hang me up at all. Share any tips you have around handling that. That'd be great for you to do in the comments, or if you come back to watch the replay. So, and the number 2 thing that I want to share with you today around the second thing, that's this other sneaky saboteur, I've called them, is that we can also, not only can we get stuck in the details of our activity, our tasks, right? There's a million different tasks. The more your business grows, the more clients you have, the more online presence you have, the more team you have, the more reach you have, the bigger audience you have, the more little nagging details there are, right? So how are you going to deal with those, right? Number 2 is that we can also often get stuck in research mode. Have you ever been stuck in research mode? I have to complete my training. I need to do another training, or I've just like, it's so cozy and fulfilling to read new books or take new trainings on your expertise. We love what we do, right? So we want to go and really like work on, I work with a lot of healers or mindset people. We want to learn a new healing modality, or we want to go to the next level of certification, or we want to, cozy up with the next good book or process, or we want to heal ourselves and work on ourselves. So we get stuck in research and getting ready mode. And so many of us that are passionate about the work we do could, go up into a cave on the mountain and really just deep dive into our process all the time. And if you want to reach and serve people in the world, if you want to get your message out into the world, if you want to make a bigger difference in more people's lives, and if you want to make a living doing it, then we need to not get stuck. Research is beautiful. Research is beautiful. I remember I'm going to give you my favorite tool, the one thing I think you have to have, the only thing I think you have to have in order to not get stuck in these patterns, after I share the third thing in a few minutes here. So if you get stuck in research mode, you're up on that mountain, and I was trained as a yogi back in the day. I'm not an active yogi right now other than my own personal practice, but so I guess I'm still a yogi. But when I was becoming a yoga teacher, one of my teachers pointed out that it's much easier to go off to the spiritual community or the mountain and practice and cleanse and do my practices. And I would go on retreat for 10 days, and I could maintain such this high level of experience there. But then it's when we come back into the world and we actually start to share it that we have more things claiming our attention, and it's not as easy to do, right? It's easy to go live in a cave and be spiritual, but coming down into the world and having the joys of family and relationship and other people around, Not that spiritual communities are not also in the world, because they have their own layer of opportunity as well for communication. But we can get stuck in this, like, living in our practice is safe and it's comfortable and it's where we want to hang out. So if you have any charge around being visible, or I think honestly most people, when it comes to like promoting their work, asking for people to pay them for the services rendered and that whole little piece of the puzzle, it's much more comfortable to go into research, education, certification. I have to get ready. I'm not ready yet, or I need another level of new training before I actually go out in the world and start getting clients, or get more clients more consistently, or raise my prices and have more people work with me at a higher level, right? So first is we'll get lost in the details, the emails, the responding, the details, the technology, the little details of just making it go. Second is that we get stuck in research or training mode, like I need another certification, or I want to read another book, or I need another process, because it's so cozy and it fills us up so much, and it lets us not be out in the world and figuring out that puzzle that I work on here in this group, that we all join together on in this group, around like, how do I talk about what I do in a way that people get it and want to hire me, right? So there's a lot of transformation for most of us change maker visionary types in making offers and invitations and letting people pay us and valuing our work, and how do we do it without being creepy and salesy. I'm going to give you my surefire way in just a sec. And so then the third thing, right? So the first was getting lost in the details. The second was getting stuck in research mode, or, study, practice, process mode. We love our process so much, and that's awesome. We want sharing our message to get as easy and into alignment so that we feel as good sharing our process and letting people invest in the transformation we can help them invest in themselves with us. We need to keep stretching, right? So we need to keep going out there to do that. So we can get lost in the details is number one. I'm going so fast, you guys. It's just coming through. Those of you who've worked with me before know that I go fast. So the replay will be here for you, but I'm trying to repeat so that you can get the details, right? Don't get lost in the details, but you can pick up what I'm putting down, right? Getting lost in the details is the first sneaky saboteur that we've talked about today. So compelling. It feels like I have to get that done, right? So can you zoom out and stay connected to inspiration and your larger expertise and your bigger vision? Most of us need support in order to do that. Number two, getting stuck in research mode or training mode, right? I need to read the next book. I need to up-level the process. We love our process so much. It's just cozy and comfy and yummy in there, so we don't want to come out. And number three, and this is also a hint at the surefire way that we can ensure that we're not getting stuck in these things, okay? That these little sneaky saboteurs aren't going to stop us from having all the clients we want, or slow us down, or get in the way. So the third thing that we do, and it certainly was mystifying to me, because I made a decision to get visible and finally step in and own the message that I'd been teaching in a secure, cozy, more anonymous environment in New York City at my studio, in Portland at my studio for over a decade. And then it was like, okay, be online with it. That was visible, and that was scary. So I made this decision that, okay, I'll be visible, and I developed some programs, and I started talking to people and created this group, and have offered online programs, and jumped into a whole bunch of very high level training, and I was being visible. I now call it scattershot visibility, where I was trying to be visible everywhere, and I was being visible for visibility's sake. And I did get a little bit of I did get a little bit of a following, but I wasn't getting traction in my business, okay? So I was being visible for visibility's sake, and there was some healing in that for me, because being visible was charged, still is. People don't believe me, but it is. I feel a little nervous even just now, because I'm talking too fast. I could listen to the judge right now. She's talking too fast. I'm all over the map. People are losing interest. I haven't given them enough fast enough. That's all with me. I'm going to say thank you for sharing, and I'm going to keep going. That's what I'm really good at. So I was doing all of this visibility, but I was still not getting the clients that I wanted. I still felt like there was something wrong. I've done a lot of clearing and healing. Was just on a call this morning with my friend Abby to do a lot of clearing and healing around receiving and money and charging and value and all this stuff. But I was being visible, and people were like, wow, you're doing so great. But I didn't have the clients that were going to help me sustain my business and make a difference. So here's the thing, right? So the one thing that we end up doing, the sneaky saboteur and the surefire way to fix all of these little tricks, traps, sneaky buggers, is that I was not making offers. I was not leading people to work with me or helping them to see a way to work with me, or the value and the power of the results that people who were working with me were getting. And it came down to not making offers. So I was being visible, but my visibility wasn't helping people to see the obvious next step, or to take them on a journey from understanding what I'm, what I'm bringing through can help them, and then being ready to invest in themselves with me to get that result. So I was not making offers. And so many of us don't. First of all, especially online and on Facebook, we don't want to be making offers all day, every day, every time we come on. Hey, buy this from me. Hey, buy that from me. Or even in our email, if your inbox is there and somebody's always saying like, hey, buy this thing, buy this thing, buy this thing, pretty soon it doesn't feel good. And for most purpose-driven, spirit-aligned healers, coaches, consultants, change makers, I call you visionaries, that feels awful. And it's fear of that keeps us from making offers consistently. And then there's some other stuff, right? How do we say it? How do we get clear on saying it? What language do we use? And then what if people say no? What if people judge us? How do we say it in a way so that they get what we do? There's a craft to making offers. And actually having people say, you know what? Yeah, I want that. I'm going to sign up. How much? Where do I pay? Yeah. So number one, recapping our training today, 3 sneaky saboteurs that stop you from getting clients or having all the clients that you want, or slow down your client enrollment. Number 1 was getting lost in the details. There are a million of them. So it's important. It's not that we can have them not be there. They are there, but we cannot get lost in them. And for me, honestly, that usually takes a system, a process for me to remember to zoom out. And I have to have support. I have a team. I have guides and mentors and a partner who helps me to zoom out, because no one can see their own forest for the trees. All right. We all need guides and mentors. So not getting lost in the details, or getting lost, is the sneaky saboteur. Number 2, getting stuck in research or training mode. I can't do anything until I know this other thing, or I'm going to a new retreat to up-level my skill. Important, beautiful work. But if you want to have a business, you need to have a consistent, visible presence that's leading people to work with you, right? Number 3 is that we don't make offers, or we don't make them often, right? And knowing how to do that has been super powerful, so that when it gets to a place where it's time to make an offer, you know that it's time to make an offer, and it feels like, this is my favorite part, the natural next step in an ongoing conversation, all right? If you're just making the natural next step in an ongoing conversation, it doesn't feel awful or nerve-wracking or scary or gross or spammy or salesy to do that, all right? So that is the summary of our training today. If you're here live, oh wait, we have comments. I'm going to try and see on this other screen so I can make sure. Yay, stuck in the details and research, Susan. Love information. You're so welcome. You're so welcome. So here's what's coming up, and then I'm going to let you go for today. I honored my intuition, inspiration, and I resisted it the whole way. So if you want to see more about that, you can look at my personal profile. I did a video, I think, over the weekend, and I was like, okay, guide, spirit, listening to my higher self. I know what I'm doing for the rest of this year and what I'm really excited about sharing with my people. What do I need to do? And it was like, you need to do another challenge. And I was like, no, it's going to be too much work and I don't have time and it's going to be hard and what do I do? I don't, right? You don't need, so I resisted it like I do most good ideas that come through. And thankfully I had some tools and I settled down and I was like, wait, really? What if it was easy? What if I could do it from, if that is the nudge of my still small voice, my job is to say yes, okay, how can it be easy? So I posted a couple of questions and put out a couple of ideas that I had for what I wanted to create, and got some feedback from you guys here in this group and on my personal page about offers. Inspired offers. So we're going to do a challenge here in a couple weeks inside this group on creating inspired offers, your inspired invitations. It'll be super fun. It'll be something you can do in just a little bit and will help. I will share part of my process to accessing the inspired offers, and also how can you create an offer that feels amazing, as well as some of the healing and mindset tools that I've developed to help me have heal that charge around, okay, here's how much it is and here's what I offer and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to have it. It's going to be quick. You'll be able to do it in just a few minutes a day, and this group will be the home of it. So sadly, I could not get our sign up page ready to go before today, so you will have to stay tuned, but you will see that soon, definitely by Monday, for you to sign up for the Inspired Offer 5-day challenge. Woo woo. And then I was like, what am I talking about on Thursday? Oh my God, how perfect. And so everything came together. So I was like, okay, thank you, inspiration. Thank you, Michelle, for being brave and having my courage and trusting and not immediately saying, no way, I'm not doing that. And for those of you who jumped in and said, I would love to know how to have that inspired offer. So that's what we're going to talk about. You'll get more information about it. So if you come back and watch the replay, I'd love for you to chime in and let me know which of these top 3 things that you have struggled with. The first sneaky saboteur today that we talked about that stops us from getting clients, coaches, healers, consultants. We get lost in the details, right? The technical details, the wording details. Well, how do I say it exactly right? Or just the day-to-day details of running a business. We need to zoom out, and most of us need some support to do that. Number 2 was getting stuck in research mode. We love our process. We love our thing, our specialty subject. And so we can get really stuck in research and training mode and want to hang out there where it feels cozy and fulfilling and warm, instead of being out in that more vulnerable, edgy place for a lot of us, where we're actually like, this is what I do, this is how I serve, and this is how I help. And do you have this kind of a problem or a challenge? Well, this is, here's the next step to work with me, right? And that got us to number 3, the sneaky saboteur of not making offers. And then I told you how I tied it all together. The universe, actually, my guide, my inspiration, right? Superpower. Then we just have to trust it and get the support to do that. Led me from, hey, I have this idea. I know what I'm creating. Oh, you need to make a challenge. Oh, look at our topic today is this. And then we all tied it together here in making offers. So that is the fast forward recap. If you're here and you have one of these challenges, getting lost in the details, number 1, number 2, getting stuck in research mode, or number 3, not making offers consistently. How often should you make an offer? Where do you make an offer? How do you make an offer? How do you package an offer? How do you do it without being gross? And then there's all the other steps of how do you follow up and all of those kinds of things, right? The stuff that's scary. So we're going to do a challenge in a couple weeks. You'll see signups here in the group as well. Have an amazing weekend. You could also share, actually, I'll create a special thread for it in the group. Like, what are you offering? We have Talk About It Tuesdays, and sometimes we're sharing Facebook groups or sharing different things. So we'll coordinate with the challenge so that you guys all have an opportunity to create some offers and talk about them, share them. All right, guys, love to you. Mwah. Have an amazing weekend, and I will see you next week, if not before.